big folder with all of the dependencies, the things that your app is made from right there in the folder. In our React folder, we have a public folder, which has some boilerplate stuff, the logo that you see in the browser, and I'll show you just a second another place where that logo is, and just the basic roots starting point for your app. We're not going to mess with anything in public or anything in node modules. Then you have your source folder. This is where all the magic happens. You will have all of the files that you need to create your app. So you might have like a header. This is where you would put that file, or a footer. This is where that goes. You have a get ignore. A get ignore is just where you put files that you don't want to be publicly accessible later on, but you need them for your projects. And then you have a package JSON that has all of the things that you need to make your app run. So if I were to pass this code off to Michael or CJ, they would have this folder to know everything that I built this with. And then your README, you can write information about your file. So I'm going to scroll back over to the chat to make sure everybody is caught up. If you have any questions, come off mute and let us know, please, or type it in the chat.
Isabel is asking for the starting project code here.
Okay, so let me repaste that for you. So when you open up your terminal, this is what you're going to type in your terminal. That whole little block of code, you're gonna let it run. It's gonna take maybe up to a minute, and then you'll have all those files available to you. Once you get those files, you're going to want to open up that folder in your VS Code. So I'll walk you through it again for the people that just came in. So I'm going to go to my terminal. And if you're on a Mac, how you get to your terminal, you can just open up your applications, or you can do Command spacebar and type in terminal. I already have my terminal up, so it's going to already be there. And you're going to start wherever you're going to put this file, wherever you want it to be, where you'll be able to find it. So on your desktop or documents, and you'll just paste that code in that I gave you. The last part is the name of the folder that we're creating. Essentially, what this code does is it creates a folder for us with some boilerplate code. So we're going to hit enter, and it's going to, oh, it's not going to let me name it that because I already named it that. I'm just going to name it Skillspire August 3rd. It's going to run and create all those files for us. Okay, so I know Patrick has it. Isabel, let me know when you got those files on your computer. CJ and Matthew, are y'all coding along with us today?
Yeah, I'm working on it, but you put something in the chat that I don't do. I just
You're breaking up, but yeah, what I put in the chat is what you're gonna want to type in your terminal. You can copy and paste it there. And if that didn't work for you, it might be if you don't have Node. I sent out an email earlier, mentioning you had Node and your code editor before you come to the workshop. So you might need to just, if you don't have it, go ahead and install it now.
We have a couple of few folks join as well. I think it's Andre.
Okay. Hey, Andre and David, I see y'all just joined us. Okay, so I'm going to go back over to VS Code so y'all can see my files that I have. So when you open up this folder, your SkillSpire to-do list app folder in your terminal. Oh, I think I forgot the newcomers. So once you download that file or once you put in that code and start getting those files, you're going to want to go into that folder. So you can either do what I'm doing right now, which is typing CD and then the name of the folder. So I just named mine SkillSpire August 3rd. And then you're going to type, um, you want to go inside the folder first. So let me get out of this. SkillSpire August 3rd. So now I'm in the folder. You can see it tells me where I'm at right now. And then you can open it up in your code editor. So code dot will usually do it. If that doesn't work for you, just go to your code editor, go to file and open up the file. So you can do file open and find your folder and open it up inside your code editor.
Hello, Sean. Hi, Andre, David, Matthew, CJ. I hope you're following along. If you have any
CJ,
questions, please stop us and ask Monica so that, we're all, doing this together.
you can ask in the chat or just come off mute. Don't worry about interrupting me. I'd rather help you out than than you're not caught up with us if you want to be. So CJ, was that helpful for you seeing me walk through those steps again?
Had to restart my terminal, and so I pasted that code, and something happened, but I'm not sure if I need to do anything. I feel like I'm definitely not following along. Sorry, I'm a complete newbie with all this too. So
That's
in a
okay.
certain way.
So does your screen, your terminal, did this kind of stuff pop up? Did you get some warnings?
I can do a screenshot maybe of what I got going on. There's
Yeah, if you want to, I will stop sharing and you can share your screen if you don't mind.
oh, I was just going to take a screenshot of the terminal, but
Oh,
and
fine.
honestly, Microsoft Teams, I'm used to Zoom. I don't know how to do Teams. I'm sorry, I don't want to be like this guy, but
I feel the same way about Microsoft Teams. It takes me getting used to.
So
Monica, we have some echo happening when you're talking. I'm not sure why.
oh, I don't know. I don't either.
I hear the echo too. I didn't know y'all could hear it.
I think it's just yours. I'm not sure. Are you logged in from your mobile as well as desktop, maybe?
Nope, I'm just on desktop.
Okay, not sure what that's. So most of the folks who are joining in are very new. So I think starting from the very beginning and just kind of even giving them, what React or Stack is, and just following along would really help, I think. And we had
Okay.
a lot of folks, you know, um, yeah, if we have a lot of folks who joined recently, so.
Okay. So I'm happy to start from the beginning because I want everybody to have a good foundation about what React is and why we use React. So this meetup is Learn to Code with MERNstack. And the reason why I chose MERNstack, not only because it's what I do every day as a developer, but because so many other companies use the same stack. So Facebook is the company that invented React. They invented React because it solved a problem that other programming languages at the time could not solve. And that's why it became so popular and so many people wanted to use it. So when you go to websites like um, Facebook or Instagram or Netflix, they're using MERNSEC or they're using React in at least part of their applications because it's so easy to add things on and reuse things without having a whole lot of code. So we're using React today. I'm going to walk through the steps again just because I think everybody that's going to join us is here now, and I want to make sure that you understand the steps to get your boilerplate React app started up. Okay, so I'm going to go to my terminal. The reason why we're using terminal is because, well, that's what the pros do. There's only one way to get these React files on your computer. Well, there is more than one way, but this is the way to get React files on your computer. And this is you'll be doing this for the rest of your career as a developer using your terminal, and it's not hard. You're not going to accidentally delete your whole system. There's fail safes in place so you don't do that. So don't be intimidated by using your terminal. I'm in my terminal and I'm in a folder where I put all of my code, and I do that so I never misplace anything. If I started a project, it's going to be in my dev folder. So what we're going to do is if you don't have a dev folder in your terminal right now, just make one and put all of your files inside your dev folder. If you want to create a dev folder, all you have to do is type make dir. It's just short for make directory. Directory is another name for a folder. And then you're going to type dev. It's going to create one for me once I do that. And then I can go inside of this folder. And how you go inside of a folder is just type cd and then dev. And now I'm in my dev folder. You can see it updated right here. If that was too much
I
for
don't,
you, okay.
excuse me, we don't see the screen. Your screen.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Thank you for pointing that out. I really appreciate that.
Sure.
And don't be scared to tell me if I'm going too fast or if something isn't adding up, if it's not making sense, call me out.
Right.
I'm going to show you
Yes,
again.
now I
It's
can
very
see.
important.
Great.
Okay. So I'm right here in my terminal. Let me clear this up. Okay, I'm right here in my terminal and I'm in my dev folder. And my dev folder is where all my stuff is. I'm going to create a new dev folder, but I just created one, so I'm going to call it developments. You can call yours whatever you want to. You can call it projects, you can call it code, but as long as you know where to find all your stuff later on, that's all that matters. So I'm going to type make dir. That's for make directory. And I'm going to name my folder development. That's where all my web development stuff is. So I made the folder, but I'm not in there yet. I need to type cd development. And now I'm in that folder I just created. You can see it updated right here. It was dev, and now it's development. And there's nothing in here yet because I haven't run that little block of code that I gave you guys. But if you go back to the terminal, you'll see where I've pasted in the command. If somebody could just repaste it in right now, it doesn't matter who, so the others can see it, but I'll type it for you. It's npx, and npx is just a place where other people store their code. So Facebook has stored their code here, so we can use it. And we're going to type npx, and then we're going to type the command create react app. So this is not done yet, so don't hit enter yet. Create React app is the program that we want to run to get the boilerplate files for our React project. And then we're going to name our folder where we want these files to go. If you don't put a name here, it's going to create the files for you. It's just going to create it in a, you don't want to do it that way. So just try to follow along with this, what we're doing now. So we're going to name it Skillspire to-do list. Then I'm going to give that time to run. So this time that it's taking right now, it's creating all the files that I need to have a basic React project. And it's going to take about a minute. So I'm going to let it run. If you have any questions, this is the perfect time to ask. Is everybody's thing, is it doing this little installation process? Or
Yeah.
if you have an error, let me know.
So I tried to do it again. I typed I just typed the code it told me, npx create react app skillspire to do app. When I hit enter, it said npx, the term npx is not recognized as the name of a cmd function script. Yeah,
Did it
it's giving me error.
work for you before, or you got that same error before too?
The same error, yes.
Did you download Node already?
I'm using Visual Studio.
Okay. So if that command didn't work for you, it's because you don't have Node installed. So what Node
Oh,
is, it is where we get those type of packages. So, or what Node is, it helps us install those type of packages. So I sent out an email. Maybe everybody didn't get it.
yeah,
You
I
might.
got it. I got maybe it's my bad. I got the email you saying
No problem. So
what I'm following.
I should have
Yeah.
mentioned this step. That was my fault. So this you will also need Node. So
Okay.
you will just click on this first one right here. LTS just stands for long term stable, and that just means this is the one that has all of the stable code. There's nothing really that's going to be unusual or anything that they're
Mm.
testing. So this is the one that you want.
Monica and Andre has a question. He says, I downloaded Visual Studio and I need to put code npx create react app skillspire to do app.
That's correct. So what you'll do if you're in Visual Studio Code already, let me open up a new one so y'all can see. I'll close this one I had before, and I'll just go to new window. So this is a new Visual Studio Code with nothing added here. There's no files. So if I want to create a new project with Andre, I'm going to type in that block of code npx create React app, and then the name of the app is Skillspire to do list app. And then it's going to run right there in my terminal. So if you are getting an error when you're running that, you need to go to node.js and download this first.
Okay.
Did that work out better for you, Patrick?
Yeah, it's installing mode for me.
Very good.
But you can go ahead for me. I can follow you as is there installing.
How's everyone else doing? CJ, were you able to catch up? Matthew? Oh, they're getting some errors, which is a good thing, good sign.
It is. The thing about errors is they're always going to put you back on track if they tell you what you should be looking at or what you should fix. So it's better than nothing. So CJ, it looks like you already had your to-do list app and then you tried to create another one inside of that folder. You only need to do it once. So I think you already have a directory called Skillspire to do app. Okay, Matthew says he's doing good. Rohan is ready to go. And Michael is adding Node.js. Isabel says everything's good. Thank you for the feedback, you guys. We don't know how to help you if you don't tell us, so let
Right.
us know.
Awesome. Andre, were you able to figure it out?
Okay, Sean says he thinks his mic isn't working, but his chat works perfect. Nice to hear from you, Sean. And CJ, I mentioned you might have tried to run the npx command twice. Did you figure out if that's what it was? And Andre said he downloaded Visual Studio Code. Andre, did you also download Node? That's the other thing you need. You need Node in order for um, that npx command to work. How's your download going, Patrick?
Yes, it's good. It's coming.
Okay.
For me, though, I will keep follow. Just go ahead.
All right.
As long as
Very
other
good.
people they are good, I'm gonna keep following you.
Okay. Just waiting for a couple of others to get caught up
Okay.
as well. So, as I mentioned before, and some of you have heard this 3 times now, but I want to make sure everybody understands what React is and what MERN is. So, MERN is a group of programs that are commonly used together for web applications. What's a web application? A web application is anything that you access from your browser. They don't all use React. They might use Python, or they may use Angular, or they may use some other technologies, but a lot of the biggest ones use React. So that's why we teach it here at Skillspire, because it's going to make you a very sought after programmer when you are comfortable building things with React.
So Andre is
So
asking Node, what is the link? Where's the link?
okay, you're just gonna go. I'm gonna type it in the chat. You're just gonna go to node.js. I'm going to open it up right here, and you're going to download this one right here that says 16.16 LTS. You want LTS, that's the stable version. It's not going to give you any crazy features that are in beta that might be hard to work with or may interfere with other programs. So this is the one you want. Now, what Node does, it allows us to get other bits of code from other developers from a central repository in the cloud. So when we type that when we type that command npx, it's calling on npm or some other code holder of code to give us some code to use in our project. So it pulls it out from the cloud, and we can use it locally. We want to do that because um, otherwise, we would have to, back in the day, they used a floppy disk or a flash drive to get those types of things. We don't have to do that anymore. So we're just going to make it easy on ourselves. We use npx. We get all of those files locally. All right, CJ, you're on Mac. Perfect. I'm on Mac too. So if you have any questions, shout them out. And Matthew is 1,000,000% correct. PWD in the terminal will tell you your current directory. So if you're not sure where you are, type PWD and it is going to print your working directory. That's what PWD stands for. It's going to tell you exactly where you are. So if you're not where you want to be, you can use your file explorer or navigate to that folder the best you are, the more you're familiar with. Will you get the source code for the to-do app? I hadn't planned on it, but if you want it, I can make that available for you. So CJ says he has no idea where the directory. Okay, so that's why Matthew said PWD. So Matthew, I'm sorry, CJ, you can open up your file explorer and just navigate to your folder if you're more comfortable accessing it that way. So if you're in your terminal, you can type PWD and it'll give you the path of where you are. So I'm in my development folder. That's where I want to be. And I know that because if I type LS in development, it's going to show me I have SkillSpire to do app. So type LS, see if you have your SkillSpire to do app folder where you are. And if you do, you can type CD and you can go into your SkillSpire do app. So Matthew's on it. He's giving y'all all the good tips. Michael says, yay, success. Yes. Celebrate those wins. I always do. To this day, I'm always excited when something works the way I want it to when I'm programming. I accidentally put an emoji on your chat, Andre. I'm sorry about that. But yes, you downloaded Node and Visual Studio Code. So once you get both of those downloaded, you can run that npx command. Oh, your node is taking a long time? Or it took a long time, Michael? Yeah, maybe it does. So I did send out an email with some instructions. So if you see an email from me, open it up. It probably has good stuff in there. Oh, it took 15 minutes for your node. Is that how long it's taking you, Patrick?
So I did install Node, and when I go to terminal and I click to terminal, new terminal, it's not giving me the starting code. Instead, it's giving me the user and my name, which is my PC.
Okay, so you are saying you are in Visual Studio Code
Yes.
and you typed npx create React app.
So, okay, let me do it again.
Yeah, so if you copy that block of code, it should run in your terminal, and then you should get a screen like this when it's done. And basically, it's giving you instructions for how to start up React. Oh, Michael's using Windows.
Yeah, I'm using Windows.
Okay. And Andre, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you are following along and you got that npx command typed in your folder created. All right, so I'm going to show you again in Visual Studio Code about the folders that you get when you do create React app. So where did I create this? I did not create this in my dev folder, but I can type ls and I can see I have my SkillSpire.
Okay, so
oh, go ahead, Patrick.
So it looks now it's coming. It's asking me need to install the following package, create React app. Okay to proceed.
Yes, you want to hit OK or enter, whatever it's telling you.
Enter.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, it's coming now.
Okay, we did it. Celebrate those wins.
Yes, thank you so much for being patient.
You're very welcome. Anybody else?
Nice.
Mike was asking if he should install the new npm update. I would say as long as you don't have to. Not much tends to change between like versions. So if you have 14, 15, 16, anywhere from 14 to 16, you're probably okay. You can install it at your leisure. Okay, Patrick, give me a thumbs up when your download is done, and then we
Yeah,
will.
everything is okay for me. We are on the same spot right now.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm not in my folder, but I typed ls because I knew my folder that I created is somewhere close by. I'm in Visual Studio Code. I can type cd, Spire, and if I hit tab, it's going to finish typing that out for me, so I don't have to do it. Then I can hit enter. I'm in that folder now. I'm still not in it in Visual Studio Code, but if I type code dot, it's going to open up in a new window for me, and it's going to show me the name of my package right here. I'm sorry, the name of my folder, and then all of my files and folders that come with React. I didn't create these things. NPX Create React App created these things for me. If you are having trouble navigating to your folder, just go to File, Open, and find your folder on your computer. Use your search bar, type in, hopefully you named the same thing I named it so you can find it, or maybe you remember. Just open and search for the name of your file, and you can open it up in Visual Studio Code that way as well. I like for you guys to use your terminal because you should be familiar with your terminal as a tech professional, but it does take some time. So if you can't do it today, you'll get there. So Andre's asking, where do you put the code? When you are in your VS Code, you want to pull up your terminal. You can go to Terminal, New Terminal, and you can type it right there in your terminal, or you can, that's the best way to do it. We'll stick with that way. Go to your bar up here at the top, click Terminal and New Terminal. I think you should practice navigating your computer system with your terminal. You don't necessarily code in your terminal all the time. Sometimes you might want to try something out, but it's good to be familiar with your terminal. All right, so all of these folders right here is what makes up React, and React is, you get a bundle of these packages or folders that you don't have to create yourself. It would be really terrible if I had to create all of these files and folders myself every time I wanted to create a new React application. Look at all this stuff it gives you, y'all. It's automatic when you run that command. And now we get to do some magic. So if you have your folder pulled up in your Visual Studio Code or your whatever your text editor is, please give me a thumbs up in the chat. I want to see how many people have it. If I have 5 thumbs up, we will move on. CJ says yes. Congratulations, CJ. Deshaun says yes. Larry, perfect. Rohan, yes. Matthew, yes. Sean, thumbs up. Michael, smiley face, perfect. What happened to Isabel? Wasn't she around? Hopefully. Oh, there you go, Isabel. I was looking for you. Okay, good. So, Patrick, I know you meant to give me a thumbs up. I'm gonna let you slide this time. Okay, so we have this pulled up. Now we get to see React in action. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna type npm. It's npm this time, y'all, not npx, and we're gonna say start. So now something is happening. It's going over here and it's opening up a browser. It's doing stuff. And this is what I have. This is how I know it worked. I'm getting this little spinny thing that I did not code this myself. It came with the Create React app package. Where'd y'all go? I'm trying to find the chat. Any questions about that? Oh, here y'all go. So I'm going to put what I typed in the chat. I typed npm start. Also tells you that in your before you do it, it's giving you all these options of things to do right here. npm start. It's telling you starts the development server. So it's starting a live version of your app to show you as you're coding what your code is looking like in real time. If that works for you, give me a thumbs up in the chat, please. Work for Matthew. Perfect. Worked for CJ. Thank you. Very good. Who has questions? How do you actually show a thumbs up? I have a thing and it's telling me y'all can put emojis. So I would just switch to thumbs up. You can give me any emoji. It doesn't have to be thumbs up. Oh, fire. Perfect, Rohan. Very good.
I think Andre still needs a little bit of help, getting up to speed where everybody else is. I think he joined a little late, so he needs.
Okay. All right. This is a good time to go over what we did, make sure we know what's happening. If it works for you, then follow the steps with me and make sure you can, it still makes sense to you what's happening. Sometimes when we do these things, it's like magic. We don't know what's going on. Okay. So I am in my VS Code. I typed my npx create React app and I gave my folder a name, which was Skillspire to-do list app. And now I should have something that looks like this. So Andre, if yours looks like this right now, your terminal in VS Code, give me a holler or just give me an emoji. Sean, what do you mean you're on the web browser version? The web browser version of what?
Of Teams. I think they're not getting the emojis because they're on the web version.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay. Well, you don't have to give me an emoji. You can give me a number 5. All you see is MH on your screen. MH is me. I don't know why that's all you see. You should be able to see, maybe you can scroll to the left or right and it'll pop up another screen, but you should be able to see what I'm sharing right now, which is the chat. Oh, your VPN is slowing things down. That's possible. Deshaun says thumbs up. All right. Okay, so for whoever needs this, so if you see your terminal and you see where your package successfully installed, you should see this little success message with some blue text. It's gonna look like this on everybody's screen, more or less. It's gonna have some blue text and some more writing. And what you're gonna want to do before you can type npm start is make sure you're in the folder you just created. I don't know what you named your folder, but I named my folder Skillspire to-do list app. So what I want to do is cd into that folder. So I'm going to type cd. And if you're not sure where your folder is, if you type ls where you are, you should see whatever folder you just created. I'm already in my folder. It's not going to work for me. But if you aren't sure, type ls. See if you either see the name of your folder on the line where you can type, like I'm typing right here. Right next to it, it tells me the folder that I'm in. If you can't see that, then type ls and see if you see the name of your folder right there. So you should see Skillspire React app or whatever it is you named your app. And if you still can't navigate to your folder that way, just go in your File Explorer or your Navigator, whatever it's called, and just go to where your application is. So if you know you created it on your desktop, just CD into that folder, or I mean, just click into that folder. All right, any feedback, any questions, any comments before we move on? So quiet. I'm going to take your silence as success and we're going to move on.
No, we good. We are just following you. Don't worry.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so I'm in my application now, and I am going to go to my source folder. So just click on that source folder, and you have some stuff that's already in there. React gave us this for free, but some of it we don't need. If you were successfully able to npm start and run your React app, you have this application. It says React app in the tab. There's a little icon here and a little spinny thing and some text as well. All of this was created by the people who made React. And if you want to look at the documentation, you can click on this and it is going to take you to the React documentation. Documentation is important. Eventually you'll get to where you're reading documentation like it's a magazine, and you're going to be finding out all the information about the programming language or the technology. And that's how you'll get started with new things, since you won't be in class anymore. By the time you're reading documentation fluently, when you want to use something new, you'll go straight to the docs. The docs are created by the person who made the language, so they're going to have all kind of good information for you. So we're in our source folder. What we're going to do is we're going to click on the one that says app.js. There's some that look similar, but when you open app.js, it looks like this. It already has some code in here. So the things that we are seeing on this page right here come straight from this page right here. You can play around with it. So for instance, where it says learn React, we can change that to something else. I'm gonna change that to I love coding. You can see it's gonna update. All I'm doing is I'm hitting Command Save. That's the shortcut to save. And it's gonna, when I scroll back over here, it's updated. It says I love coding now. You can also go to File and Save. But whenever you type something over here, you have to save it. I'll show you again. I'm going to change this to I love tacos because I do. And when I hit, if I scroll now, it doesn't update. It's not going to update until I hit save. You'll know when it's saved. If you haven't saved it yet, it's going to have this dot right here. That means you made some changes, but they're not saved yet. When I hit save, that dot goes away. This little part in my terminal, it kind of blinks on and off. And then this changes over here to I love tacos. Questions? What's your questions? Michael says his is working great. That's perfect. How's it going, the rest of you? You can just type it in the chat for me. Let me know how you feel about this, or come off mute. Let me know. Sean says thumbs up. Rohan says strong emoji. I love it. Very good. Isabel gave me a little bitty okay symbol. Okay, I'll take it. Perfect. Andre, you can't see the video? I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure what you could click on to get a different view, but let's see. Yasmin, do you happen to know why he's not seeing the presentation screen? Deshaun says pretty good, thumbs up. CJ says tacos. Yes.
Sorry, I was actually eating dinner and talking to you guys as well.
Oh no.
But are you doing video or are you explaining without video? Because I don't see the video. Not sure why. This should be the screen that you should be seeing because Monica is sharing her screen.
All right, you guys. So originally I was going to show you like a mini MERN stack version. We were going to create an app. But I should have given you all more background information to get you started. So we're going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to try to get you all more familiar with React because React is super important. There's so much to learn about it. I want to get you some basics and some fundamentals. So we won't maybe create a full application this time, but you will be, hopefully you'll be more confident at the end of this. And I want you to tell me how you feel when we get done, your level of comfort with learning React when we get done with this. So as I mentioned, this is all the stuff that's on that page. When we go to our React app, we changed I love tacos. Hopefully you changed something as well. But now we're going to get rid of all this. So from line 7 to line 20, I want you to select the whole section and hit delete. We're getting rid of that basic React stuff that's there because when you create an app, this is exactly what you do. You get your boilerplate and then you start deleting stuff. So I have deleted everything. I saved it. And when I go back, I should just have a white screen right now. So everybody do the same. And we're going to create some stuff. So does anybody here have any experience with HTML?
Yes.
Patrick says yes.
Yes.
Sean says yes. Okay. CJ says some. Good. So when you write HTML, you know, you have your H1 tags, you have a P tag, you might have a div or a section. When you are working with React, you have similar things. It's going to look like HTML, but what this actually is JSX. JSX is really HTML and JavaScript. Is the best way I know how to explain it to you. You're going to have those same elements that you can use, but look at this file right here. It says app.js. This is a JavaScript file. It's not an HTML file. Like when you make a HTML document, your file is going to end in HTML. Here it ends in JavaScript because this is JavaScript. You can do all the same things that you do in JavaScript as well as HTML in one file. So we're going to make the basics of a to-do list app. So I'm going to start by creating a title. I'm going to write an H1 tag just like if I was doing HTML. I'm putting mine on line 7 because that's where I had space from where I deleted the other things. And I'm going to name this.
Can you share
Monica, we
screen,
don't
please?
see your we
I'm
don't
not
see your
sharing
screen.
screen.
It just went away just a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay. You all can see this now?
Yep.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so right here, I'm creating my H1 tag on line 7, right in between those two div tags. I'm gonna name this Skillspire to-do list app. And if I hit save, I'll see it when I go back to my React application. See where it's
Nice.
updated. Nice.
Yeah.
I can't see the
So
chat.
I can see somehow it looks kind of HTML.
Yeah, it looks exactly like HTML. You're going to use all the same things, the same elements from HTML that you know, from an HTML document. You can use it right here in React. That's another good thing about React is you can, in one file, you can create all these things. So here we have our title to-do list app, but this is not very remarkable yet. I want to delete this now. So let's delete that part. And we're going to do it the React way. So I can actually go over, make sure you have your like sidebar open up. Just click on these two files right here, this little file emoji. You can toggle it. and click on the title of your folder. Mine is Skillspire To-Do List app. And I'm going to click this little file or folder emoji or icon right here to get a new file. I'm going to name my file title with a capital T, title.jx. Once you have your folder, please come off mute and say, got it, just so I know I can't see you. I'm toggling back and forth between screens.
Got it.
Perfect. Who else has it? Say, got it.
Got it.
Perfect.
Got it.
Very good. Okay, so once you have created that folder, it's just going to be over here with the rest of your folders. It's if you named the title like I did, it's going to be under your setup tests. We're not going to use tests most of the time. When you create a React app, you won't end up using that folder either. So it's one you can get rid of. What I'm going to do is at the top, I'm going to type import. And then I'm going to type React, a capital R, from React. It seems redundant, but this is how you get all the good React functionality into a brand new file or folder. So I have that on line 1, and then I'm just going to create a function. Now, the thing about functions, I'm not sure if you are familiar with JavaScript. Who's familiar with JavaScript a little bit? Who's done like some basic JavaScript stuff?
Just a little bit.
Just a little, and that's all you need to know, just a little bit. We're going to create a function, and we're going to put our title in this function. So I'm going to say, function, we're going to name it title. Actually, I don't want to do it like that. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to say const title. This is just, this should be const. Const title equals, and this is the arrow function. This is the modern way to write functions. So yours should look something like this. And all I did was just create an empty function called title. And this is where my title component is going to be.
Wow.
Who has questions?
Yeah,
I'm going to go back
that's-
to
that
chat.
function is kind of different from what I was expecting.
Yeah, so this is an arrow function. As you go throughout your career, you'll see functions like this. This is how they are written for the most part. You'll see different ways of writing it, but this is the modern way. So I like to introduce you to this since I'm guiding you along on this React tour. So we have our function called title. And then before we forget, we're gonna need to export this. So after this closing curly bracket, we're gonna type export, and we're going to say default. Now what this does is it makes it to where we can use this in another file, and that's exactly why we're doing it over here. We're doing it in a separate file, just so if we want to reuse our title component somewhere else, we can do that. So we have, we're exporting it here. There's nothing in here yet, but now we're going to put something. Any questions before I move on? If you save this and your app crashed, that is perfectly fine. It's going to crash at this point because you don't have enough things here. So what we're going to do inside of that arrow function that we just created, we're going to type return and then a pair of parentheses, just like this. So when you create this function, this arrow function, this is a component we're going to use in another file, and we need to tell it what to show. What should they see when they go in the browser when we use this file? So right here is where we're going to put our, this is basically an empty div tag. It works just like a div tag, but this is what we use in React because whenever we have parentheses like this, we can only return one thing. So instead of having like a paragraph, a div, a H1, and all kind of things, we have to put everything inside of one div and then we can pass it on to the next component. So we use this because it doesn't really take up any space. It's kind of invisible, but it does the job that we need it to do. Inside of here, we're going to put an H1 tag, and this is where we'll put our title. So right now, I don't have anything on my page. If you deleted everything, like I showed you in the last step in your app.js, you have a white screen in your browser. But now when I type the name of my application, Skillspire To-Do List App, and save it, I can then use it over here in my app.js. So I saved it. Nothing is still going to show up in your browser, but you can go over here to your app.js file and import it. So I want to import. I'm at the top of my file on line 3 under my import app.css, and I'm just typing import title from, and then I need the path of my title. So where is this in the structure of all of my files? And I can just do // and then look, I'm going to pause because developers were lazy. We work smarter, not harder. And when I do that, I get a list of options right here. What I want is my title component that I just created in that other file. And if I hit enter, it's going to autocomplete for me. So now I can use this file that I just imported in this part of my application. Right now, you see it's kind of grayed out. This logo is grayed out because we deleted it in another step. That was the little spinny thing that you saw when we first opened up our browser with our React app. And then here, our import CSS, it's being used. We just haven't done anything with it. Now I want to use my title component. So what I'm going to do is on line 8, between those two div tags, I'm going to type title, just like as if it were an H1 or something else. I'm typing title and it's going to give me everything from my title file over here in my main app.js file. And then when I go to my browser, it says Skillspire again. I'm going to prove to you that this is the thing we just made and not something else that we deleted from before. I'm going to go back to title.js and I'm going to do a paragraph tag with I love tacos here. And then I saved it. Everything is saved. You see I don't have any dots up here in my browser. And then I have I love tacos there. This is the basis of how React apps are created. This is how Facebook was created. They made a component and then they imported it in another file. Let's say they made the avatar component. They created it in a file and then they imported it into their main file so it would show up where they wanted it to show up. What questions do y'all have? I know your minds are probably blown right now. Sean says tacos. There we go. No questions. Who has an error? Let's talk about that error. Errors, they look scary, but errors are really trying to point us in the right direction. So if you have an error, we're going to read your error and fix what's happening because it probably tells us exactly what to do inside that error. Isabel says all good. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to take your silence as success and we're going to move on to the next step. All right. So I created this title component here. Let's say I want to create an input if I was making my to-do list app. I'm going to click on the folder up here and I'm going to say input.js. because this is where I'm going to add my to-do list items. So again, you're going to have a lot of repetition when you are working in a file system like this, but a lot of the hard work is done for you. So I'm going to type in import again and React from React. All this is doing is getting all that good React functionality for me and making it to where I can use it in this file. After I type that, and can you guys see that? I think that's small. Maybe that's too big. Okay. So I've imported React from React. I'm going to create another function. I'm going to call this function. You want to name your function the same thing that your file is named. So it's input right here. I'm going to create a function called input, and I'm going to use my arrow function const input equals. So here's my empty arrow function that I have not saved yet. And could somebody please be my co-instructor right now and tell me, after we did const before, what did we add so we would be able to use that file in another file? We added something down there. Somebody tell me about it. Isabel
Export.
says export. CJ says export. Patrick says export. Sean says export. Oh, Sean gave us the whole thing. We want to put export default input. That's exactly right. Y'all are professionals. Now I'll be able to use this in another file. So I'm going to actually create my input now. So inside of my empty arrow function on line 4, I'm just going to type return and then parentheses. And inside of there, I can put my little empty divs. I don't know what this is actually called, to be honest, but this is what you use. We're going to use our little empty little placeholder things there. And inside of there, we can put an input. Input is built in to the HTML language, and it's for when you want to receive data from the user. So if I save that, I can then go over to my app.js right under my title. Oh, what else? I was just going to put this in here, but that's not right, y'all. What else do I need to do? This isn't going to work because I'm missing a step. What's the step? Imported, that's correct. And I also noticed Matthew gave me the correct terminology. That is a fragment, that little thing. I didn't know what it was called. So I'm going to import my input from. How do I know where that file is? If I just start typing, what's going to happen? Magic, it's going to tell me. It's going to say, hey, is this what you mean? Input? Yep, that's what I meant. So now if I save this and go to my browser, is it going to work now? Who has a prediction? No predictions? I'll show you. It works. I have an input there. Who has an error? Let's hear about your error if you have one. No errors? I told you you guys are professionals. Okay, we'll move on to the next step. Can we add the taco logo as well? Okay, yeah, I'll make sure we incorporate tacos some type of way. We need that taco emoji. Okay, so we know how to make files. From here on out, we're going to make everything else in this file just for simplicity. So we have our input, right? One thing I want to mention is, I will talk about that later. We have our input. Now I want to be able to like type something right here and have it show up below our thing. And I think that's probably all we're going to have time for today is being able to add our list items to our list. So let's go back to our input.js file. And we are going to want to create, well, first let's add a placeholder. People need to know what this is when they come to our application. So inside of our input, I'm just going to type placeholder equals, and then these little quotation marks. Inside the quotation marks, my placeholder is going to say add a to-do item. We'll save it. And if I go back over here, I see it's telling me what should go in this input box. That's just good UI. You want your user to know what the heck they should do when they come to your application. So they have this here. They know what to enter. Now, when they enter something, I want to be able to capture what they have. So I'm going to create a function that's going to store the value of the thing in there. So when a person comes here, so first you should know input has some built-in functionality already. The people who made HTML 100 years ago, not 100 years ago, but a long time ago, they knew that the purpose of this input was to get information from the user. So we need a way to store that information. What that is called is the value. So what is, what is being input there? So we're going to type inside of our input right after our placeholder text. We're going to put value equals and then curly brackets. Eventually, our value is going to be to-do item. So this is how it should look. We have a value is equal to something. So whenever, if you're familiar with JavaScript, you know about variables. But whenever we want to access a variable in React, oftentimes we have to wrap it in these curly brackets in order to access the data there. So we're going to create our variable up here after probably your line 3 as well. We'll just hit enter a couple of times and we'll say const. This is our variable we're creating. And you might not have seen this before if you haven't done React. If you've just been doing JavaScript, this is going to be a new concept. We have a thing called state. Now, state is just the way your app is at a particular point in time. And that is like, is there information there from the person? Are we getting information from somewhere else? What does our app look like at a certain moment in time? And we store that in the state. So right here, we want the state when it comes to to-do list items. So we'll say to-do item. This is going to be when a person is typing what they have actually typed. And when we want to update it, we'll use set to-do item. And we're going to set this equal to new state. And inside of here, we'll just leave it blank. Because when they first come to the page, we don't have any information from them yet. We just want an empty kind of placeholder where we can dump information into later on. So you should have this so far. But one more thing we have to do. Use state is built into React, but you might not always use it. So it doesn't always include it in your file. We're going to have to import it just like we imported React. So what you're going to do on line 1 after React, you're going to put a comma and then curly brackets. And inside the curly brackets, you're going to put use state. So we have access to this functionality. Don't forget to save it. So I know I'm on track with what I want to happen because I don't have any errors in my terminal or in my browser. But if you do, let me know so I can help you out. Oh, Rohan, the consummate professional he is, has gave us the documentation to use state. So proud. You knew where to find it. shared it with your classmates. Perfect. Okay. Who has an error? Nobody? Okay. Y'all are silent. You know what that means. Success. Okay. So here, this is where we have that value. So the other thing we need to add to our input is we need a way to capture the value. Value is going to store the value, but first we have to capture it. So we have a built-in function. You can use this function in React or just regular JavaScript, and it is onChange. So right after our value variable to do item, we're going to put this onChange. Make sure you give yourself a space right after that. So onChange equals curly brackets. And this is an arrow function as well. You're going to, inside your curly brackets, put your parentheses, space, arrow, which is just the equal, and your little arrow key. And let's put this in brackets as well. Put in brackets. I'm just going to put enter just so I can give myself some space because some good stuff is about to happen right here. We're going to do e.target.value. So what that is, it's built into React. There's no way you would have just known this unless you've been doing JavaScript for a long time. But whenever we want to capture some type of event, this is what we use. We use e.target.value because it's targeting the event that we want and it's getting the value. You usually see this when there is some type of user input being done. And the other thing we need to do is make sure we put our E right here inside of these parentheses because it knows to listen for this event. E stands for event, y'all. I'm using a shortcut, but as long as these two things match, it doesn't matter. So event.target.value. We're listening for an event, and the event is some input. What questions do you have? Okay, moving on. So now I actually am going to want to see this in action. I don't know if you guys are going to believe me if I don't show y'all, so I have to have proof. So I'm just cleaning up my files. I like for this to be easy for you to read. If you don't have all this typed in right now, I'm cleaning it up just so you can have a better idea. So I'm messing up curly bracket. Okay. So we have that. Let's put this here too. Is that easier for y'all to read? Oh, you're professionals. It doesn't matter. Y'all already told me. Okay. So right after this onChange, I'm going to console log this value so I can see if what's happening, what I think is happening is actually happening. So I'm putting a console log. That's just a way for us to kind of check our work. We can see that, and users that come to your site can see it. A lot of times they won't know what the heck it is. So we're putting console log, and then we're going to put event.target.value. So what I'm expecting to happen is why do I have, oh, you should not have this semicolon there. Still have an error. I have a little squiggly right here that's telling me something isn't quite right. So I'm going to hover over it so it can tell me identifier expected. onChange. Oh, this should actually be inside of here. That's why. So I'm going to copy this and paste it up here. I want it. Oh, that works, y'all. Let's see. No? Let me see. That goes to that. That goes to, does everybody else have an error too, or is it just me? Y'all are the professionals now, so I need y'all to help me out.
Nah, I got it too.
Let's see. This. Oh, let me put this back down here. And this should go here. Okay, this is how it should be. So onChange is a function all by itself. And I need to have the console log inside of the onChange function because every time that function runs, I want to see the update. So every time something on the page changes, this function should run. And I'm using my console log to check my work and see if that's going to happen. And if I save this, oh, I still got errors down here. Let's see. Error on line 12, line 12. Expected an assignment or function call, instead saw an expression. Give me one moment. Let's see, this should be here. This should be here. Yes. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, so I'm running event.target.value, but it actually needs to be attached to it should be attached to whenever I want to set the new value. So what I'm going to have to do is, remember this little use state thing we use up here? This is called a hook. So I need to use this hook, our set to do item right here. So I'm going to, right before our event.target.value, I'm going to type set to do item. I'm going to put that inside of parentheses. And now I don't have any errors. So if you had an error, if you add that set to do item, it should go away for you. And then we can check our work. Kind of scroll over and see how y'all are feeling. Okay. And let's go to our React app. So to check your console log, you're going to right click on your application and go down to inspect. It's going to open up this little sidebar. You might have opened this up on accident before, but this is where you can see if you have an error, you'll get a little message similar to this. It'll say error. So right now I have a warning. Warnings won't make it to where your application doesn't work, but it is something you probably need to go ahead and address. If you have an error, you absolutely cannot go forward without fixing your error. It will stop your progress. So read your error, see if there's any suggestions, and fix your code if you see that happening. Let me go back to the meeting. Any questions? No questions. All right, so right now if I'm typing, I see it's updating over there on the side. Everything I'm typing, if I delete, it's going to update. So I can put 5 tacos and it's going to show me that it's going to log every keystroke. That's pretty cool, right? Does that earn a taco? Is that good enough for a taco? No tacos. I'm so disappointed. Okay, Michael says yes. That's taco worthy. Matthew, I think so too, Matthew. Okay. So, 2 tacos from Sean. Love it. All right. So we have, so that we know we can get the data. So now, let's see. It's getting late. I know some of you probably hadn't expected to be on this long. We're going to do a few more things. So what we're going to do is, Sean says he already ate dinner, but now he wants tacos. That's funny. Okay, so now what we want to do is show our to-do list item right below our to-do list. How can we do that? So if I have my input right here, expanding a couple of lines because we cleaned up our file a little bit. So after line 16 or so, after we close it up with this little thing here, we're going to want to show our to-do list item. So you can actually go right below that, and let's create a div. So your code editor is probably going to autofill some of these things for you. Let it do that. It's you don't want to have to type all these things out all the time, especially if you create an open div, the opening part of your div, you want it to automatically do the closing part of your div as well. So we're going to put enter just so I can be in the middle of that. And we're going to make space to show our to-do list item. So right here on, say around line 18, I'm going to create a P tag. And inside of the P tag, I'm going to put curly bracket and then the do item. Any questions about that? I'm right below my input. I created a div just because I kind of like to give myself some room in case I want to get fancy and do some things. But the most important thing is I have a P tag with our to-do item variable in it. And that to-do item came from right here. So what's happening is whenever a user comes to my fantastic to-do list, they type something in and I capture it. So the on change is capturing what they're typing. And then the value is holding onto that to-do list item thing. So it's setting the item right here, and then I can retrieve the item because these two they're a package deal. You can't have one without the other. Well, you could, but why would you want to do that? I can use this to store my data. So right now, what the person typed in when they visited my page is stored in to-do list items. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to go look over here in my React app, and I'm going to type eat tacos. And right below that, it's going to update. So over here, you can't see this when a person visits your page in your console. This is just for you as a developer to check your work. I'm going to close it now because now we know it works. But right in here, I can type eat taco. There is day. Eat taco is there. If I delete it, I can say buy more taco supplies. I can do that as well. And it's going to show up. Let me spell it correctly. It's going to show up right below that. This is the basics to your to-do list app. There's much more involved. We didn't get to our database, but I think we should do this again really soon so we can, now that we have all the setup stuff out of the way, so we can go ahead and learn how to incorporate a database and other things in our application. Does anybody have any questions? I see Michael has a question. So I know some of you I've talked to through email, but if you could please drop your email in the chat or send me a message with your email. I want to follow up with you all, see if you have any questions. Is there any way I can help you in your journey to become a software developer? Any resources or anything? I would love to keep the conversation going. This is super fun for me. I hope you all had as much fun as I did doing this. But I see we have some questions. So before we go, I'm going to answer the questions. Michael says, is there any way to format that field for a specific input? Oh, do you mean like some type of validation? Like you want certain information? Come off mute if you don't mind and let me know what you mean.
Okay, I was thinking alpha or numeric, if you want to keep it a specific type. Just numbers or just letters?
You certainly can do that. So there's some things built into JavaScript that check for numbers or letters or whatever it may be. There's actually several ways you could do that. So if you just wanted it to be a phone number, you could specify that. If you wanted the phone number in a certain format, you could specify that as well. If you wanted an email address and you wanted to make sure it was a correct email address, you can do that. All of those things are things that you certainly can do. You can format it for whatever type of data that you want. You can make sure
Okay, thank
people
you.
aren't putting bad words. You can make sure people aren't saying certain words. Whatever it is, there is definitely a way to validate those things. What you want to know about is form validation. So if you're interested, I would just look up form validation. W3 Schools is a really good resource. It's free. It has like all of these terms and different things about all the programming languages. So put in JavaScript or React form validation if you're interested.
Thanks.
Yes, you're welcome. Will there be another session to finish the app? Yes, I'm going to go ahead and schedule that tomorrow. Just because I have fun with y'all. Y'all are a nice crowd. I like y'all. So if you were interested in finishing this up, we'll from the beginning we'll use a database because you have all of the tools that you need. You have Node, you have your code editor, you know how to use Create React App, you're professionals. You wish you had this class in person, you old school. I understand. I miss being in person sometimes teaching, but it allows me to teach people I never would come across. So I'm glad you stopped by. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, y'all, if you haven't put your email in the chat, please do so. I want to be sure to invite you to the next session. We'll get further next time, like I said, because you all have all of the tools to make it happen now. Anybody else have any questions about what we did today?
No, I just want to thank you for your time too. It's really important to spend, some of us, it's completely new. It's really hard to explain if someone has it, like if someone is completely new. But we thank you how you do it. It's really good. How you go back again in the start over. So we just want to thank you for that. It's really good. You're a good teacher.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. This is what I do. I am an instructor. I teach the full stack class at Skillspire and teaching every skill level. So there's some people with some experience and there's some people that don't have experience, but I can meet you where you are and get you up to par because I love the tech industry. It changed my life entering the tech industry. And if I could get everybody into tech, I would. There would be no job vacancies because I would put everybody in a tech position. I think it's one of the best career fields just for like work-life balance. I work from home. I travel a lot, and I get to meet all kind of people. I work in a good environment. I don't have to work holidays. That was my favorite thing. I think was not having to work holidays. I worked in retail, and I hated, and I mean hated, Black Friday the most. It was so stressful. So I don't know where you all are at in your careers. If you are in a career that you do not like, um, get into tech. There's worse things you could be doing, if anything. I think it's fun to me, and I think if you're going to be doing something, you might as well be doing something where you can make a lot of money and have more autonomy in your everyday life. Matthew says, "OMG, retail, don't get me started." And Isabel says she can't wait to continue next time. I hope you join us, Isabel. It was good meeting all of you. Does anybody else want to come off mute? I said I was going to ask you guys if you feel more comfortable learning React from this session. So let me know. Do you still feel intimidated by React? Do you feel better about learning React? Like, do you think it's possible? Let me know what you think.
That's a great introduction. I think I'm a little more comfortable with experimenting with it.
Good. You know how to get started now. You can use that npx React app command and name a folder and start, playing around, exploring some things, getting used to it.
I want to thank Monica for taking this time as well. I was just going to say that, Monica, you should talk about your background, and you already did, coming from retail. Just wanted to, let you all know that the next cohort actually starts September 12th, and registration is happening. In case you're interested, you can reach out to Monica, you can reach out to me. I'll put my email down here as well.
All right, you guys, I think that's it for this session. Thank you again for joining us. I will reach out to everybody that left their email, and I'll personally invite you to the next session. I definitely want you to be here for the full to-do list tutorial. And the reason why I like to do the to-do list tutorial is because it has all the building blocks of every application. You might notice when you see tutorials in other places, they do a to-do list, they do like a blog. But if you can do those things, you can learn how to do all the other things. Um, it's a good starting place, and it's something you can add to your portfolio. So if you enjoyed this, you join us in class. We do it. We have class Monday through Friday, 2 hour session, very similar to this, and we just learn continually in topics that increase in difficulty and complexity. But guess what? It makes you a better developer, and it makes you more sought after. You have the skills that employers need get their apps built.
Does the class start often? 5 exactly 5 or 5:30?
It does. What coast are you on, Patrick?
Sorry.
What coast are you on? Are you on the West Coast?
Yes.
He's here in Seattle, so he's in West Coast.
I'm in
So
Seattle, yes.
yeah, so
Okay.
5 p.m. It starts at 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Okay.
Also wanted to, give a shout out to everyone who are like helping all the other students. I think you guys really, I mean, it felt like a class, helping each other, and that's really awesome to see.
Definitely. Yeah. I love that you guys, that's like the tech spirit right there, is sharing information that so other people can benefit from it. That's a very tech thing of you guys to do. I appreciate that.
So, excuse me. So, if I heard correctly, do you have both in person and online, right?
Yep, that's correct. If you are in
Okay.
Seattle, you can join the in-person class. It's a hybrid model. So if you're anywhere else, you can join in the same class and you'll be remote.
Okay.
Any more
Awesome.
questions, guys? I don't want to leave y'all. Y'all are so much fun. So please join us next week. I would
I
love to
know.
see you there. I would love to see you all there, and bring your questions. If you have any questions about anything you've seen along the way or anything that we talked about today, please bring them.
Okay.
Thank you
All
very much,
right.
Monica.
You're,
Thank
you're
you,
welcome, you
Monica.
guys.
Thank you, yes.
I think we still have CJ. CJ, did you have a question? We still have CJ on the line. Maybe he's just lingering over there. He's still there. Okay, there you go. Okay, Monica, just wanted to thank you so much. I think you did a fantastic job.
Thank you. I guess I didn't take into consideration that I don't know these people. I don't know what they know, but yeah, I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah. So I think that's the gauge that we need to do, right in the beginning, because you were lucky that, some of these folks actually knew, but then some did not. Like Patrick, Andre has no idea. I don't even know whether he knows how to create a folder. So he might need, you might want to, because I've met him in person, he's really, really interested, and he might need a little bit of initial help, but then I think he'll do great. So I'm still seeing my face here. So, but
Oh, I guess.
but I was just saying that I met him. He's really, really motivated and wants to learn. But I think he joined late, and so he's thinking you may want to just touch base with him and tell him like, hey, if you were behind, we can definitely help you out. So I think that would he'll feel better if you were to just send him a very quick email. All the others seem to have caught on very fast, and they all had fun. And I think you have a way of kind of interacting with them that just kept it going. Actually, I learned something too, so it's great.
Okay.
So the one confusion was, looks like everyone joined at 6 o'clock. So that's the time. So I think going forward, we need to just make sure that we're sticking to whatever time, and everybody. And also it takes about maybe 5-10 minutes for people to join. Typically, they're finishing work, and they're driving, or they always come in a few minutes late. So it's always good. But oh, and I think I'm still recording, so I think I will stop the recording.